Well, good evening, friends and family and pals around the world. We are about to embark on a crazy new adventure from home, but we wanted to share it with you on video and document like the whole process. Some of you know that I did a big challenge last year, and during 2020 that was really successful for me. But it wasn't something that I really documented along the way. And I was thinking about doing some other kind of a challenge, and something sort of accidentally emerged for us. So who are we? We're Shelly and Jim Barnaby. We own a business called Forever Outside the Box. We like to provide radical solutions for people and families, but we also have done a lot of crazy fun things in our life, and we think this is going to be one of them. So let me share a little bit about what we're about to embark on. So we are the parents of a large family of now adult children, and we find ourselves as empty nesters. Well, because we live in a cold northern climate, and we have usually been self-employed, so we were just sort of, would you call us preppers? No, we're really not that, but we are people who, I love a good bargain. So a lot of time, and I shopped in bulk, and because we just, like literally for most of our kids growing up years, we started a meal with 5 pounds of hamburger, or, you know, I made the whole 2-pound box of spaghetti or something like that. And so we just tended to have really large quantities of food, and we like to stay stocked up on that. We had a huge pantry in our downstairs. And so now that all of our kids have moved out, we were looking around in this giant downstairs pantry and our upstairs pantry and our commercial refrigerator, and we looked at each other and said, who the bleep is going to eat all this food? And you said,
us.
We are, because we don't waste stuff. And so thus we started in on the concept of doing this as a challenge for a few reasons. I've read a lot of books about food storage, and I would think different things about, like, is this really how you should do it? Or I would think to myself, I wonder what would happen if people actually had to eat this stuff. Or have you ever looked in the corners of your pantry and been like, who bought this? How do we get this? Who's ever going to eat this? So the answer is we are. And we've thought a little bit about how we're going to do it. We're going to share with you we think we're committed to do this for a whole year. And this is truly, I'm committed for the whole year. Jim's coming along for the ride. We've thought through most of it, but as we go, we might have to, like, it really means for us no eating out, and we travel a lot. So we're trying to figure out how to stay true to the challenge and how exactly that's going to work. How we can stay true to the challenge for holidays, lots of things. So we'll talk about that like as each day goes by. We're also going to show you what we eat most days, if not every day. We're going to we're planning like once a month to kind of reassess the stores and show you like how it's dwindling down. So with all of that said, we're super welcoming everybody's comments and questions so that we make this like fun for everybody. I'm hoping to do some fun challenges along the way where all of you can join us maybe for a week or a month. I don't know, maybe we'll get some brave souls that want to do it the whole year alongside us. We'll see. So all of that said, we have a really specific way that we eat these days, and it is not super conducive to the things that we have stored. So we spent a lot of time thinking about, should we change the way we eat right away? Should we eat it the way we eat for as long as possible? Because we kind of know that when we eat when we eat a lot of grains, we typically both feel pretty junky. So in light of that, we're going to do what we think we would actually do if we were thrown in a situation where we had to truly subsist on what we have stored. We think we'd continue to eat the foods that make us feel the best first, and that we would obviously eat our fresh food first, followed by our frozen food, followed by those other like more shelf-stable things that we have stored. So we'll see how it all transpires. What are you most afraid of in this challenge?
Well, I wouldn't say afraid. I'd say more wondering on some of the stuff that we have, and it'll be a good way to find out if what we have is the right things to have or what we should have had more of.
Yeah, I can guarantee you we have a lot of the wrong things. But we're also pretty adventurous, and we hate wasting things. So I'm somebody who can make myself eat most things that I don't necessarily love. But we're going to keep some metrics along the way too. So one of the things that I'm not typically scared, but I am sort of scared around this challenge of a few things. One is that I'm afraid it's going to last longer than a year, not shorter. And you'll see on our next video why I say that, because I was planning for 12 people or more, not 2. And plus we do intermittent fasting. So we don't typically, we eat once a day. So it's going to be a lot of meals. Also, I'm super afraid about coffee. Like right away, already today, I was like, oh my gosh, I better take it easy on the coffee, because I'm not really sure what I would do if I ran out of coffee. I definitely like coffee. So I'm a little bit nervous around that. What food do you think you'll miss the most? That might be that might be a weekly feature. Like as we get through things, we might talk about what we miss eating, what we wish we had, all that kind of stuff. So rules of this whole thing are, and I'll go over them more in detail, but we are only going to eat what we already have stored. We just came home from a trip and we did buy some like refrigerator groceries, nothing more than we would typically have, but we have a pretty full fridge. We have a very full freezer right now, and a hugely full pantry. So you'll get a big introduction to that in the days ahead. And I think it's going to be, I don't know, I think it's going to be fun. We're not eating out. At holidays, we're allowing other people to bring like dish to pass things, but only things that we could find. We're okay with gleaning, like we have some wild edibles where we live, and so we're fine with that. We also make our own maple syrup, so we're sort of fine with using that to barter for, especially like one of our kids does a lot of gardening, and we would typically barter syrup for produce anyway. We're going to allow ourselves to plant things. We do some microgreens. It's already pretty well into the summer here, and we haven't planted a garden, so we have some seeds. We feel like it would be fair if we did plant a garden, but I'm not super hopeful on that because of where we are in the season. We will still hunt and fish. Like the things that would still be available to us, we're still going to do if we want to add to our supplies. But other than that, we're stuck with what we have, Spam and all. So we'll see how it all goes. That said, I'll show you what we're having tonight. We're each having a giant chef salad. That's the plan for tonight. And I have a feeling that will be one of the things that we miss. We eat a lot of fresh produce. So switching over to frozen and canned is going to be kind of just different, right? Yeah.
And we'll see how fat we get.
Yeah, that's the other thing. The thing I'm scared, that's the thing I'm scared of, is not that we will lose weight. I'm more afraid that we could gain weight, especially eating a bunch of carbs. So I think it's going to be, I don't think we would stop the challenge for any reason. But if I start to gain weight, I've worked really hard to lose weight. So if I start to gain weight, we will fast more or exercise harder or something, because that's something I'm not willing to regain some weight that I lost. So this is going to be like a major cool experiment on a whole bunch of fronts, because we're going to get to see what it's like to eat certain things, mess with our diet a little bit, and really keep the metrics on this for a whole year long. So what's all that? We're not very experienced on the whole YouTube thing yet. So I don't know. We're supposed to say, I don't know, like, subscribe, all of that if you want to see this, because we're planning for it to be a daily adventure. So join us again tomorrow as we start eating down all this food clutter.